Nobody else got.
Okay. So,
Extra credit.
okay, let's start. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming. I was expecting that there'll be more people here. It's like talking to you. I think that I'll get you to introduce yourselves, right?
Oh, yes, we'll introduce ourselves.
Yes, but Nita is the executive director of MESO, and Carmen Madrid is her right hand woman, right? So, all right, take it away.
Okay, okay. So my name is Nita, and I work at MESO, and we are a business support organization. We are a 501c3, and we have been around since 2005 in Portland. Our mission is to improve the economic opportunities of underserved individuals through empowerment, education, and entrepreneurship for the benefit of the greater community. And we live and work with this mission, and that's been true since 2005. I should do a slideshow.
Let's do the slideshow. Here, press that one right there. This one. Press this button. There. And then you can just hit that one. There. You're there.
Entrepreneurship is a universal poverty alleviation tool. It works in every country, it works in every community, it works in every neighborhood. It levels the playing field. So people who don't have opportunities will have opportunities to improve the economic well-being because they are in the business. It brings empowerment. If you're in business, you wear many hats. You have to do what you have to do. And so you learn to become very self-sufficient through that and empowered because of all the work that you have to do. You have to learn skills that you didn't know. You have to learn accounting. You have to also learn how to do janitorial. And so you just really learn the whole wide variety of things. I also have seen, and especially since you are in school, it's when you do a small business, you have a better chance in a career just because it has taught you so many skills. And I know for a fact that management, they look for people who have had their own small businesses. So I wanted to take a minute to talk about one of our MESO clients. Her name is Sheila Watson. She is a child care center owner. She now has 4 centers, 3 in Portland and 1 in Las Vegas. That was not how she came to MESO first. She came to MESO in about 2007, wanting to open a small childcare in her home, where she was watching 5 to 6 children at a time. Her style is really great. She really cared about how the kids were progressing in their education and things that they were learning. That she became pretty popular childcare provider. So from 5 to 6, she went to 10 to 15 children in her own home, but people kept coming to her. So she opened a center where she was serving 45 children, and pretty soon she had to open another one and another one. So she has 3 commercial locations here in Portland. She got this great opportunity. She had actually just gone for fun to Las Vegas and saw this building there and decided that's the one she wanted, and she wanted to open a childcare center there. So just 2 years ago, she started the childcare center in Las Vegas. It is doing fabulous, and the owner of the building also decided to sell her the building. So she now owns the building in Las Vegas. But since 2008, her volume has, from making nothing, she was hardly breaking even, to now her revenues are $2 million a year. So you make a lot in small businesses, and it's been a great journey for her. She's a mother of 4 children. The children have grown up in the childcare centers and now are actually operating a couple of facilities for her. So that was a really great journey for Sheila. And I like to, she doesn't mind us sharing. At one time, she was on the street after high school. She didn't go to school, like she didn't go on to college or anything. She was living on the street. But after she became an owner, she went back to school and got her degree.
So Hi, I'm Carmen. I'm a business development manager at MESO, and we work with a lot of clients. And so I actually found this slide particularly for this presentation because we know that a lot of students, you basically are born, you go through your childhood, and then you end up, here, you graduate from college. And what happens is that people don't really know what they want to do. And I don't think that it's ever introduced that being an entrepreneur is another pathway for you. You don't have to have the 9-to-5 job. You don't have to have that boss that you don't want to work for. And there are a lot of people, and I put some examples here, like, I don't know if you're familiar with these folks, like Susie Orman at 30, she's now a financial guru. She used to be a waitress when she was 30. Harrison Ford, who's an actor and producer, he was a carpenter until he was 30. So many more examples here. The author who wrote J.K. Rowling's, not until she was 31, she was a single mom on welfare. And so entrepreneurship really gives you a different path in increasing wealth. And I wish that this was introduced to me when I was in college, and maybe you're the only one that might receive this, but you might be that millionaire entrepreneur, right? Like 5 years from now. And it's not a choice that was even presented to us when we were going to college. That did you know that when you graduate, you can start a business? And I think sometimes people fall into it because they feel like they have no other option. But as college students, you can literally, graduate and think about starting a small business or, starting it on the side. The millennial experience has really shifted the way industries are right now. So this is an example right now of, like, if you are going into machinery or equipment and supplies wholesale, in 1990, 47% of this workforce was between 21 to 36, and it fell almost 30% in 2017. So millennials aren't wanting to do hard labor jobs. Like, that technical skill is actually going away. So if you look at that adult income in this industry, in 1990, the average annual income was 53,000, and look, it actually shrunk in 2017. And so, this is a reason why a lot of people are starting their small businesses, because they're like, I don't have a career, I don't have financial wealth, I don't have generational wealth moving into a labor force. And, as Nita mentioned, being an entrepreneur makes you incredibly well-rounded, and you gain a variety of business skills. You learn how to manage the growth of your business, time management, financial skills, operational skills. When you're hired for a job, you're hired for a very specific amount of tasks. When you're an entrepreneur, you do everything. And so, and that is actually what employers are also looking for, is they're looking for very well-rounded people. So even on the side, it would be really great if you, participated or worked with a small business. So, okay, this is yours. Okay.
So how does entrepreneurship drive personal and business transformation? And this is really related to MESO and MESO's work. Empowerment is at the foundation level of everything that we do. So when people come to us and they say, we want a $20,000 loan, but we can't go out and do any sales, well, that's not going to work. So for us, our task is, how do we make you strong in doing the sales and empower you that you can use the $20,000 to really do what you need to do. So empowerment is at the foundation of every kind of work that we do. The second part of it is knowledge, really gain knowledge, come to MESO, get some business education, be open to listening, to learning, to knowing. And so knowledge is the second part of the triangle that we focus on. And when we give empowerment and when we do the knowledge-based education, what we get is results. Results are amazing at MESO. I think 90% plus businesses are still in business after many years. They're growing. We have our default rate for our loans is less than 1%. People are always paying. It's all those transformational changes that happen because of empowerment, knowledge, and then the results that come along with it. So just a story about Victoria and Jorge Gomez. They own Tonales Donuts. That's on Alberta. I think it's called something else now because her son has taken over. But that picture is from 2005. They were one of the first MESO clients when we opened our doors in 2005. A hardworking couple. They came to America. They were, night and day working in this donut shop. So Victoria actually was a floor manager at Office Depot, but had reached a point where she didn't see any change in her career that's going to happen. And at that time decided to stop doing what she was doing and open the donut shop. That's how the business came along. Along with her husband helped her. They made a thriving business. The donuts are excellent. The children, I still remember, they were 5, 6, 7 years old when they opened the business, and now are adults and are now managing the stores, and they have 3 stores now. Victoria has been able to buy a home for her family. She has supported 8 people in her family, has been able to support her mother in Mexico. So just so many good things have happened with a small business idea.
So once you're in MESO, we actually have a very formalized program, and these are for clients. We call it the anchor program because they're anchoring into MESO with their business support. Right now, we serve about 600 people in the program a year. There's 10% in cross referrals from the loans program. The anchor program is a 3-year commitment, and they basically will sign up with us. They will get a business advisor, and they need to have at least some kind of cash flow within the last 6 months, because we want to know that you're serious about your business. Sometimes people get really excited and then they kind of fizzle away because maybe they don't have that business support. And then we do need to meet funder requirements. So geography, meaning that MESO serves Portland, Gresham, and Beaverton. And there is an income qualification, and we really do focus as part of our mission in helping underserved communities. And so once you get into the program, I mean, it's very intentional. We want to make sure your foundations are set, making sure that you've registered your business, your licensing is intact before you sell food or anything else in your industry. And then we're really trying to formalize your business. We do assessment and goal setting, meaning that we need to do a full baseline review of your entire business. And then we start creating work plans to reach your goals. The IDA is one of the most phenomenal pieces that we incorporate into the business, which is a grant. And this grant program with income eligibility and the requirements that need to be met is basically a match of, for every $1,000 that you save as a business, the grant gives you $3,000. And so you get to do that 3 times within 25 months. So the grant allocation is a total of $9,000 with you saving $3,000. And it's phenomenal because this helps our businesses grow their assets. And why do they want to grow their assets? Because now if I have a piece of equipment or I have a car that's part of my business, I can use that to collateralize from a loan if I'm expanding my business to the next level. And then we want to make sure before they graduate out of the 3 years that you have a business plan, you have a marketing plan, you understand how to do accounting, you know how to do QuickBooks, you understand your operations. I mean, we've done work with people where they're kind of doing a million things and streamline their operations so that they're a lot more efficient. We'll work on your growth strategy. And then last but not least, as your business grows, your HR practices need to get stronger because you're hiring people. And so you have to put all of the elements on that together. And we also do ongoing business education classes. So our committed business advisors, they're going to work with clients in a very customized and strategic way, meeting each business with the tools that they need when they're ready. So we're not going to give you QuickBooks if you're not even collecting your receipts, right? Like you're not ready for that kind of a thing yet. So we meet every individual where they're at. This is, I put a little bit more, some pictures in here so you can get the flavor of how the capacity of MESO. So this is our last class when we did a business building series class. And I wanted to show this picture because even though you have an individual advisor at MESO, we actually hone in on each other's strengths. So, you know, like if I need some graphic design, there's some people on the team that are stronger in that area, and they'll sit with them and put their business, you know, graphic design collateral together. One of the business advisors recently just sat with a client, and in 3 hours, he basically like put his website up, his URL. He didn't have a URL. He didn't have a name. He didn't have anything. And in 3 hours, he had a website that was up and running. This is an example of one of our clients, Meals on Heels. She delivers to sex workers in the industry who are neglected. And now she's actually doing a lot of catering jobs, and they're basically healthy bowls. And so these are, this is Nikisa's business advisor, Alfred, but, you know, tag teamed with Denise. They made this board like over the weekend, you know, with just whatever we had. So because she was featuring at a market. But aside from that, Nikisa is most recently, she's been published in the New York Times and really a lot of the local magazines. So, you know, it's really scaling at that level. This is not just a local thing. We've even had clients that actually are doing imports and exports outside of this country. So it's just how much, how big the, you know, the loans, I mean, how big the clients want to get. We have a loan program, of course, to help with the financing. And so there's technical services that are provided with these personal relationships we've established. And it's really important. And this is what was mentioned, our default rate is less than 2%. And default just means they couldn't pay off their loan. And that statistic on a national level is phenomenal. And, you know, somebody was challenging me last time and said, well, you guys get your loans paid off faster because you're doing $100, $200 loans. And I'm like, those are the hardest to manage because these people are, a lot of them are credit challenged. And so we're also working with them on their credit scores. So that's some of the baseline we start with. And we don't just access the risk profile of the application, but from their past actions, but we look at their character and we look at, you know, what does that mean, relationship collateral, which means that this person, you know, is intent in moving their life forward. And it's kind of like that second chance model, really, you know, and taking a look at the whole person, if possibly whatever's happened in their past, whether, you know, system stuff has happened or personal things, it's like, this is your business right now. What are we going to do to change things? And I think loan programs just assist in that whole process. They have two major roles, which is, you know, filling MESO's impact, access to capital to underserved communities, helping build capacity, and the credit building piece that we talked about. People will borrow $100, and this is actually a consumer product. So any of you can actually come to MESO without a business. And a lot of students, what we're finding is that they have no credit or bad credit because you opened up that credit card and maxed it out and never paid it back. There's things like that we see. So this is a way for you to actually, you know, start that over again. And there's an education that's associated with it. A lot of times people don't have the financial education. They're just told, open a credit card. We have an educational program around that. And then, so it's important to uphold both of these objectives as the program grows. And then you want to talk about Casey as I think that loan part was yours.
That's good. So this is Casey Bonzi. He owns Origami Catering here in Portland. Again, another great story for MESO. He came to MESO in 2010. He was sleeping in his car, but really had wanted to do sushi for the longest time. Ever since he was young, he had learned how to do it from his dad and wanted to duplicate that as his business idea came to fruition. So he has a MA in English, and he was a professor at a college in, I think, in Bend or no, Ashland. In Ashland. And one day decided that he really, if this is the time, he was about 22, 24, decided this is the time I need to get out of here and open my business. He came to Portland, he drove in his car, slept in the car for almost a year, and started his sushi business. From the beginning, he was a wholesale sushi maker. So he sold to stores, not directly to customers. From there, when he came to MESO, he had gotten a couple of big accounts that rolling the sushi by himself was proving to be many, many hours of work and labor. And so he wanted this automated machine. So that was one of the loans that we did give Casey, even though his cash flow wasn't good. We saw his character, his persistence, and his hard work, and decided to give him a loan. And it's never been the wrong decision. Just in last year, no, this year actually, it just happened. Casey is now owner of 2 big buildings in Portland. He has a kitchen in one of the buildings. He has a kitchen and then another kitchen that he rents out. That's where he was. That's where he grew quite a bit. When he was, pretty stable, he was starting to get stable, got this opportunity to buy this other building. He jumped in and got in. It needed extensive remodel. Just then his biggest account, which was New Seasons, pulled out and stopped ordering from him, which was crushing to him. He was making about $500,000 from that account, which went down to zero. And now he had this building that he had to put $1.5 million to remodel. Everything came crashing for him. It was amazing how much looking back, I see how much MESO staff, all of us, pulled together to give him support. Like, you have to keep going, Casey. We are here to support. We gave him about $250,000 because the contractor wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. It was just a whole mess of things. Just last week, everything came to an end where the building is completed. It has 2 big kitchens in the bottom and then 8 apartments on top. It's right on Killingsworth. Great opportunity for Casey. Now he has this one building that has 2 rented kitchens. He's going to move in the new building and the apartments are already renting. It's such a great story about Casey's perseverance, and then to see the businesses going up and down, but you stick with it, you stick with it, and you stick with it, and you come out. He's now he got a contract with one of the biggest distributor in Northwest Portland. He supplies to all the OHSU, to most of the universities. So he got his contract up to, which is going to be about $4 million a year when it's fully fleshed out. So, just this heartwarming, amazing stories that happen in our neighborhood and with people next door to us. And that's what excites us to being at MESO. And that's what excites us about entrepreneurship, really, because there's with the right effort and the right attitude and the right grit, you make it, and it happens, and it's pretty amazing. So, how MESO is pretty successful with how we work with our clients. We just do what we have to do. We put our heads down and we are working all the time. We are very, very busy. We are a staff of 16 people at MESO. And, we don't sit and really think, why are we successful compared to all the other programs in town. And it came down to the next few slides that you see will be about why MESO is successful. And it's because we preserve dignity. When a person walks through the door at MESO, somebody always greets them. Even though technology is so great and people can go online and do business plans and all that, really our goal is, yes, business plans are really great, but you need help in implementing them. And that's where MESO comes in. We actually sit with you and help you go through the business plan and help you make as little small things as a business card. Do you have branding? You don't? Okay, let's sit and make a business card for you. And so it's that instant services that we are able to provide is another reason that MESO is so successful. But it's really the person is first. versus the program first. It's always the person who comes through the door or calls us always gets a human voice and a human person to help them. We have an open door policy. We do make appointments. We love making appointments, but again, we understand that a small business has limited time. And if they have walked through our door, if they have made the effort to come through the door, then we are going to stop everything we are doing and help the person. Our office is like this, big wide room open, everybody's there together. We are open business in critical times, so we don't close up for Christmas vacation. You know, many organizations do that. We are open, we are there to serve people. And all of our staff, we go, again, we realize that small businesses don't need to close doors to come to see us, so we go and visit them many times. You know, so we have tried technology. We have tried, like, let's put things online and see if that's sufficient for them and they don't have to come through the doors. But it hasn't worked for me. So that human touch is extremely important to us, and the experience and getting to know each other is so important. And that's why, again, we do have technology, we do use it for things, but again, also making sure that they know who they are working with.
Okay. These are just some pictures. Again, I love pictures because they tell so many stories. And you know that old adage about like, don't fish for someone, teach them how to fish. But I feel like MESO takes it to the next level. And we will actually give you the tools. So basically you will have a fishing rod, and we start assisting you in accessing the river. Sometimes you may have all the tools, you may have all the knowledge, but you don't have the space to implement. And you know, this picture just happened actually last night with Nikisa, and she was invited to cater at a space that she normally would not have been invited to. And she actually, we told her, we said, get some pink spoons and forks for your stuff, just to kind of brand you a little bit. And she said she looked around the room and she almost started crying. And she said, I wish my dad could see me doing this, because she never pictured that her business would go to this next level. And when Nita talked about implementing, when I had met with her, somebody was working with her, trying to get her business foundations, but it was like, okay, time to implement. And she sat down with me and I asked her a simple question. How much did you sell last week? And she said, I haven't started yet. I said, that's your homework. This meeting's over. And I said, how many are you going to sell this weekend? And we'll meet again next week and see what that experience is like. And now she has a catering job, probably 2 every week now for the rest of the spring already scheduled out. And that was in less than a year. But it's the people that keep coming back and that keep utilizing these resources. They're humble enough to, you know, really listen to where they need to grow, and then they work on that. So it's not just business skills, it's also lots of personal development. Tony here, I mean, I think he's a graphic designer. He had his receipts everywhere, just scattered everywhere. And so look at this, they're all in folders monthly with all of his business expenses. And now he's moving towards putting things in QuickBooks. You know, so it's like those little milestones that empower the individual. And once he was taught, he said, that was really easy. I can do that. And now he's on top of it more than he thinks he is. And you know, this is somebody who actually took a loan from MESO, and her product is actually out in Walmart's distributed. And all they are these little rocks that glow in the dark in fish tanks. And, you know, at first, like, there were a lot of people that were kind of like laughing at her and all this kind of stuff, but she walked into MESO, and you know, there was, maybe some of us were skeptical too in the beginning, but 1 or 2 people are like, that's an amazing idea, and went through, you know, the financing around it and helped her business plan. And I think, how much did she sell? Like 2 million last year or something? This is phenomenal.
Can't keep up with the orders.
Yeah. So, you know, this is the level and scale of like how we work with folks that would have never had a chance, that they walk in a bank and nobody's listening to them. And so this is the stories that MESO has. So this is talk about the secret sauce.
The topic was entrepreneurship as a game changer. And, we just want to come back to that. I mean, we can keep talking about what great things MESO does, but really entrepreneurship in itself is a game changer. It is such a game changer for your own empowerment, for your own progress and careers. And I guess I can just personalize and tell you a little about my own story. Immigrant story. I came from India 40 years ago. My background is in child psychology, nothing to do with entrepreneurship. But when I came here, I could not use my degree. They needed me to go back to school. I was not ready to do that. I needed to start earning. And so I said, I'm not going to do that. And so I started my first business, which was, again, I was in child psychology. And so I opened a childcare center. I had 4 children, so it worked out perfectly. I couldn't have left them anywhere. Babysitting is so expensive. So they grew up in my own childcare center. And I had that till my youngest one went into kindergarten. After that, I started my entrepreneurial journey, I would say. I bought a sign and graphic design studio. I had that for several years. And then I went into restaurant business, and I've done about 8, 9 different restaurants. I would buy them when they were not doing well. I would increase the cash flow and, just the revenues that were coming in, and then I would sell it. And that became my life. I would never have been where I am today had I not gone through that journey. It really empowered me on understanding what I needed to do. I had a donut shop. So when Tonali's came to meet MESO, I exactly knew what she felt like when she sat down and she said, I'm exhausted. She was up since 3 o'clock in the morning making those donuts. And so entrepreneurship teaches you so much. Definitely there were businesses that I shouldn't have had, donut shop being one of them, to businesses that I should have never sold because they were doing really, really well. But I didn't have anybody like MESO in my back pocket to help me through those times when there are difficulties come for an entrepreneur. And that's what's so great about Portland now is there are so many resources. MESO is just one of them. There are so many resources in town to help small local businesses. So really, just jump in, do it. You don't have to spend much. None of my businesses cost me too much. My goal was to break even within 6 months. For whatever I bought. So I never believed that I had to wait 2 years to break even. I didn't have money of that kind to do that. And so it was quick. What can I do to get my business going? What marketing do I need to do? What products I need to have? It wasn't about me and what my passion was or what I liked. It was what the customers wanted and liked. And I think it was a huge game changer for me. I wouldn't be here if I had not done all these small businesses. I wouldn't be able to help the small businesses that we have if I didn't have those experiences. And so one of the things that we do at MESO is most of our staff has a small business. Carmen, you see henna all over. She's a pretty well-known henna artist, and now she's studying ceramics. And so she's so entrepreneurial, and so are the rest of our MESO staff. Everyone has some ideas and excitement and doing it in some level with their small businesses. So even while you are students, really, I encourage whatever idea you have, packaging sauces or, whatever your passion is, go for it. Doesn't have to cost much. Even if you get one customer, you're learning lessons. You're building your, small business deposit in your brain. And each business taught me something, and it really was a game changer for me and my family. when I had my childcare center, it was, again, we didn't have any money at that time, but the owner of the building asked if I wanted to buy the building and gave me a contract to buy it. And I honestly have to say that building has put my children through college. So it's, maybe I didn't make as much cash, but there was an asset buildup that happened because of the chances that you take. So, it's, again, when we talk a little about the game changing, it's such a push and pull cycle. And this is, again, in a small business, but it's definitely in MESO's life, is we are setting goals. Small businesses setting goals, they're learning, they're executing it, there's accountability to it, and then you're evaluating it. Like, did this work for me? What do I need to change? Like when the donut shop that I had, you can just make so much money after 1 o'clock, nobody wants a donut. And so I had to think, what can I do for lunch? And so I started bagels. So it's constantly evaluating, where do you need to make adjustments to make the next dollar? At MESO, again, it's a big engagement model. This is what we hope that our clients are also doing in their business. It's meeting people, meeting your customers where you are. You're building the foundation. You're helping the clients get what they need. You are co-investing in that relationship. It's the donut shop was my worst thing that I ever did in my life, the worst thing. But when I look at the experience, it was the best experience in my life. It prepared me for everything. I could sleep 24 hours a day. With the donut shop, I had to wake up at 2 o'clock, 7 days a week. I still wake up at 2 o'clock to this day. That business was in 1996, but it just laid a foundation for me. And if you think of it, in those days, donuts cost 50 cents and 25 cents went into the product and the material. And then you are looking at 10 cents going into your rent and all that. So you hardly make like 15, 20 cents per donut. That's why it's one business I always support with big tips, because there's so much that goes into making that donut. And so, you have to sell a lot to break even in that business. But what kept me going for 2 years in that business was this relationship building with every single person who came through the doors. And they would buy dozens and dozens. And when they had to take something somewhere, donuts would come to their mind, because I had invested a lot in the relationship building with them. And then really boosting momentum, really again, this is a little about MESO, and I'm just saying what worked for MESO works for an entrepreneur. Relationship drives the impact, really. It's meeting people where they are, you're building foundation, you're co-investing, and you're boosting momentum. And this is the experience that people get when they come to MESO. They're walking in, they come to this Info Connect workshop. They to understand what MESO is and how MESO works. Because once you invest in the business and once we invest with you, that's it. We are partners for a very long time. Like the several clients we have shown you, they are from 2005. They still come to us today. And then the Anchor program, Carmen leads that program, and it's a 3-year, pretty tight relationship based program that the clients are meeting our advisors continuously and constantly to set a goal, to refine their goals, and to go ahead and make those goals become a reality. Oh,